So as you can see, that's made a massive difference in the yard. Because they were tall, we'd put stuff underneath. So we still haven't got a huge amount of yard space back, but welcome back, episode 72 to Spitfire Engineering. This week it's all about trommels. We've got 3 trommels on the go this week, at various different stages in the build, completely different applications. So let's crack on with it.
Welcome back to a brand new week at Spitfire. I'm going to give you a quick, really quick rundown of what we're doing in the workshop at the moment. So follow me. On the left here, Steve is working on the frame for Raptor 3012. Yep. From last week, most of it's been welded. The newest part is the bunker leg on the bottom. So Steve's just finishing them off now. So yeah, that will get finished today and then that's ready for paint. And then into my bay here, I am still working on the in-feed conveyor. I've been waiting for some parts. I had to refold one of them. But they're tacked on now. I've just got to flip this, weld it. And I believe that's it for this. Everything else Connor did before. So yeah, that's my part done. Then we'll just go over to Connor now and tell you what he's doing.
Right, so this is the third bucket I'm working on now. It's actually bucket 2 of the first 7. The floor's already been cut out of this, so all I've had to do is clean it back and take this face off for the new floor to sit in. I'm just taking measurements as we are for the new floor, and then once that's cut in, I can then take this cutting edge off, and then once that's off, floor should be done, and it should all just come together after that. All prep is done on this now, so just taking measurements and then get the new floor in. So this is what I did last week with bucket 1. This is fully done now. It's had a new cutting edge, new bolts, nuts, and it's had a new floor welded in. You saw the outside, this is now the inside. It's practically just the same, just make sure everything is covered. You can see it's all welded down there, down the middle strut. Same with the outsides, same with the back and front. And the relief cuts are also welded in. Yeah, that is a full bucket done now.
Right, so this is the 3012 Trommel in-feed hopper. It is going John Deere green, so if you come around here, you'll see the colour that I've started painting already. It's come out a lot different to what I thought it would, but it's quite nice, so we're going to go with it. And we've got the doors ready to be painted as well. Once they are painted and the hopper is painted, we'll get the frame in here ready to go grey.
so as you know, we're looking at efficiencies in the workshop. I feel, as from a business point of view, and that we're nowhere near as efficient as we should be. So constantly looking at things to change. Now you've seen what looks like solitary confinement at Alcatraz in the workshop at the minute, because we've got more welding curtains and a welding curtain factory at the minute in there. It seems to have gone a little bit out of hand, I think, in there. When you actually watch it on the videos, it looks as though they're really penned in, but the reality is something different. It's not quite as bad as it looks on the video. But the individual welding bays and the final assembly at the end of the workshop has already started to have an impact on the time taken on jobs. We've now got a new system in place that monitors progress on jobs and time taken on the jobs and the relationship between those two numbers, and we've seen a certain improvement in recent times between that. We're becoming more efficient. It certainly looks that way according to the numbers. Now, something else that we've also done is this. Now, this is a T-card board and is proper old school. Now, for the last 12, 18 months, we've had different software, different ideas, different ways of how we can manage the workload in the business. And we've gone back old school because we've tried the technology route. There isn't a technology supplier that can provide me with exactly what I want unless I go down the bespoke pay for it route. So when we start a new job, George, as the CAD designer who's got fabrication experience, he will do a list of subtasks. So it'll be on like a mini screen, for instance, it'll be cut box section for frame, cut flat steel for screen box, cut flat steel for conveyor, and then it'll be fabricate frame, fabricate, you see what I mean? It goes like that. So we've got a list of subtasks. So George does that, he puts that on a spreadsheet, Lauren in the office prints it off, gives it to Archie somewhere here, I don't know what the system is, it's still work in progress, and Archie just writes down how many hours he thinks each subtask will take. And then Lauren has that back and Lauren fills out the job cards on here and she'll put them all in here. And then Archie will come out and he's obviously got this here, this still needs labelling up, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then these last two are completed. I'm gonna have to talk to Archie because that should have been done last week. So then we've got everybody in the workshop's name down here. So what Archie will do, he'll get the T cards from this board and then start putting them in along here based on the estimate of time that he's already put on, because Lauren puts on the T card the job number, the customer name, the subtask, and the estimated hours. So obviously the guys here work 11-hour days, 4 days a week. So with the estimate on there, Archie can make sure that he allocates, speak of the devil, he'll make sure that he can allocate enough hours per day for each individual person as a rough guide. So the idea being that the work is allocated up to 2 weeks in advance, and then as the tasks get completed, they'll get put into these two columns here, which will be the completed columns. When Lauren comes in every day, she can come out here and take any of those completed cards out there, and then she inputs that into a spreadsheet that we've got, which then works out the efficiencies in the workshop. It sounds relatively long-winded, but trust me, out of everything we've done around here, that's actually the most basic and simple system and the most effective system we've had in the last probably 2 years. And the system before that wasn't that great anyway. So this is actually a major step forward. We've also got in here, at the minute, when anybody uses anything out of the stores or cuts material in the metal cutting, they write on a daily material usage sheet what they've used. Melissa has to come from the office upstairs, down here, pick the piece of paper up, go and take it back upstairs, and then input it into the system. We've now got an old iPad that we've had kicking around for some time that we've put some real basic software on there, and that will sit in here. It's connected to the Wi-Fi in the office, literally just there. So any of the lads can actually put on there what they've actually used, and as soon as they've done it, boom, it's straight onto Melissa's computer up there in the office. So it eliminates the need for Melissa to come down here and pick the paperwork up. So those two little tweaks, alongside some of the physical changes that we've got in the workshop, we're going towards the right direction. We've also got the lean manufacturing as well still going on in the background, and everything else like that is all sort of coming together, and we are moving in the right direction to become more efficient, and the numbers tell us that we're going in the right direction.
Right, so today we're going to look at the aggregate wash plant job. There's a little bit to this, so we'll look on the computer and we'll go through it. So over here we've got essentially a giant water tank. Now that man's 6 foot, I think we've said that before, and that's the scale of the job with it. This is, like I say, a water tank. We've got 2 conveyors coming out of it, and if I split the job, it's a bit easier to see. So the water level is across that big blue line here. Now stuff will get fed into this. All the dust and stuff will be extracted out, and that will fall straight down into the water tank. Now all the floating parts will have this, it's hard to see, this will essentially be a little jet, and it will push all of the floats across towards this conveyor here. Now it's got 2 side channels either side to bring it into the belt width, and the belt will have a load of brushes attached, which I can't show you completely on the model because it slows the computer down, but a load of those on the way on it. So then when it's coming round, it will scrape across the top of the water and pull all the floats up and out of the job. Then anything that sinks will naturally fall down, fall into this conveyor here, and get taken out of the way and exit out the back here. For access, we've got 2 ladders either side. Their location is yet to be confirmed due to all the pipe work and that still being a little bit of an anomaly, so they'll just be mounted to suit. They are bolted on so they can be adjusted or moved to suit. For access, we've got a big panel here that'll have a big rubber flange on the inside to trap any water from leaking, and it doesn't look very big, but trust me, that is a big hole that you can get in and out to. Just do any maintenance if needed. It's going to go on a. It's going to be able to be moved by a Roro lorry, so you've got your lifting point there, it's centralised, channel at the bottom, and we've also put lifting hooks like this, so when they do it they can strap and it come to a central point up here. The conveyor here is stainless, which is a bit different for us, and all of the parts for that have been ordered out. So instead of Colin cutting it in the machine shop, we will just have that turn up pre-cut and then we'll fold it here, saving time and labour for us. The other one is just a standard sort of designer conveyor, but different sort of shape and size. And that's essentially it. It's not overly technical, but there is a lot going into this. So this will be built over the next couple of weeks. So you'll see that being built going forward.
So this is the Cayman Island Trommel. So Gav and I were in on Friday and we've put a load of the hydraulic hoses on here. So they're still loose for now. They're not all bolted down using clamping blocks. Some of them are, but not all of them. Yeah, most of the actual hydraulic lines are now in place. We just need to get the ones sorted for the in-feed conveyor. And then after that, it is mainly just the actual hydraulic tank and the motor stand. So hopefully not too much longer on this in terms of the whole project, and we should be there. The paint shop has been very busy recently with the John Deere Green, which you've seen from Ashley. So the hopper and the main body of the conveyor are both in the final assembly area of the main workshop. So Stuart's just bought these in here, and these are looking very good. So nice shine to them, nice finish, nice hard wearing. So Stuart's plan is he's going to get all of these intermediate rollers bolted on here now. And then as soon as the front and rear sections are ready, they can get bolted on as well. So yeah, mainly these rollers, and then we shouldn't be too far off really. So you've seen the drum painted. This is the bulk of the assembly, and it's just getting the drum in the frame really once that's painted as well. So coming over to said frame, Steve has, what's Steve got left? I think Steve is just cleaning up now. Yeah, is by the sound of it. So both panels welded on, Steve's just cleaning up, and then I believe Ashley is coming into this workshop in a minute or in a little bit to seal up everywhere that needs sealing. So we don't fully weld everything, it's a waste of time, waste of money. It's a, oh, Ashley is here sealing already. It's a waste of resources really. So yeah, getting this sealed up so it can set before it gets painted. So we've got obviously all of these here, the uprights here, so they get a nice solid feed in there. So I know some people are really funny about sealing, but it would cause too much distortion regardless of the time element to it. They are simply bunker panels and they would start bending and bowing. It's just unnecessary. So yeah, that is the bulk of all of that about done. Rob is currently folding a lot of the parts for the Aggregate Wash Plant frame. So there are, he's singing away to himself. I'll explain about that in a second. Rob is currently folding the, what looks like some of the bolt-on plates for the ladders. So there's a ladder either side of the plant. So yeah, there's a lot of small parts for this part of it, and then a lot of the big parts are just flat sheet steel. So yeah, Rob has got little earphones in his ears. So we have got a 0 headphone, earphone rule in the workshop unless they are a certain kind, which Rob has bought. So we are happy to supply normal ear pods, like the plug-in foam ear things, and then the over-ear defenders, which Rob is also wearing. But they would say to people, for health and safety wise, it's just not safe to be wearing ear defenders, or no, the music ear pods, because often, and we've had it before when we used to allow them, they would be blasting music or podcasts or books into their ears, extremely loud, and then you would try and talk to them and nothing. You'd be shouting right behind them and nothing. So health and safety wise, if there's a fire, if they're in trouble, if you've fallen over and broke your leg, it just doesn't work. So the ear pods that Rob has got, they cut out when they hit a certain decibel range. So if I was to shout behind him, he would still be able to hear me. So they don't go so loud, and I do believe when there are loud dings, they do dull themselves even more, so that it definitely doesn't sort of don't get the sound in. Yeah, no, I'd say double man it, and then you can both go and double assemble after, can't you?
Yeah, I've wrapped up half a pot of
Half a pot
of green, so I've got some left over.
Ready to go.
Ready to go for that.
Sweet. Sweet. Yeah, I'd say double man this, and you can both double man the assembly after, can't you?
Yeah.
Nice. So we've got Stuart and Ashley behind me right now. They are cleaning down the framework for the 3012 Raptor. So it's looking good. Steve finished it off today. Yeah, not really a lot else to say. Both get this, well, them two will both get it painted today. Come out tomorrow at some point, go into another workshop just to dry off fully. But yeah, double gun it, and then, like I said, like I was just talking to them, they will double man the assembly for the infeed hopper. So hopefully, we should be not far off from the infeed hopper today and the frame done. So yeah, tomorrow and Thursday, I think these two are going to be smashing with assembly. So, on to the next big job. We've got Rob behind me, who is currently fabricating for the Aggregate Wash Plant. So, this is the one going up to Scotland. He is going to be welding the float conveyor, this one is. So, this one is the conveyor that will have the brush mounted to it, and that will be collecting all of the floating debris. There's really not a lot of fabrication in this. Rob's done most of the work with the folding. I estimate there's probably 5-6 hours worth of welding, maybe. Which is just for the base, the body of the conveyor, which is really good to be honest for a conveyor. The rollers will probably take about the same sort of time, 5-6 hours. Other than that, it's going pretty well.
Welcome back to another instalment of Robbo's Workshop Roundup. Here we have a conveyor that I've finished welding. This is ready for assembly. This is part of the Aggregate Wash Plant job. This is the first part completed. The only thing left on this is just the bearing tension runners that I need to make for this bit here. So this is done. This is just outside for now. My bay is currently empty because I'll be starting the main tank for Aggregate Wash Plant. I've just got to do the bearing tensioners like I just said. So there on my bench, tacked up, ready to weld.
Following on what Rob said, this is bucket number 2, but the third bucket I'm doing. Don't know if you saw the outside's fully welded and the wear strip's on now. I've also replaced the cutting edge with a brand new one with new bolts and nuts. All I need to do now is weld in the floor. I've just prepped the back run now, so I'll weld that and then I'll slowly work my way forward. We're doing either side, the middle, and then finally the front. Yeah, then once that's all done, this bucket will be fully done. So behind me, you see all the buckets I've done now. You've got the rock bucket, 1 and 2. This is the one I've just finished, if you come hither. You saw the inside just prepped to start with. This is fully welded now, as you can see all down here. The middle and the sides are multi-ran, and there's just a single run on the back and the front. I've already said about the cutting edge. Yeah, all this needs now is paint, but that will be painted when all the first set of buckets are done. So this can just chill out here for now and wait to be painted. And I will show you my next one now. Just brought the bucket inside now. This is the third bucket, but the fourth one I've done. This needs a cutting edge on the front, a weld on one. And obviously the floor replacing. Floor's already cut out and the cutting edge is off. Firstly, I'll put the cutting edge on, so that sets my distance with the floor. And this should be quite a nice, easy floor, because that looks quite straight to me. Yeah, if not a couple folds, but yeah, you should see as I see it.
Cool, so it is Thursday morning. I am shooting off in a minute, so I need to get this filmed very quickly for Adam. Steve and George are behind me. They are currently doing a little bit of work on the Cayman Islands Trommel engine frame. And then this right here is the framework for the Aggregate Wash Plant. So yeah, very big I-beam section of steel. Yeah, looking good though. They've got one fully done, and then I believe they're going to make the second one off of that, so they can just lay this other side on top of it, so they're both identical, and then they can put the beams that go between them in afterwards. So Connor has got another bucket in his bay. The cutting edge is stitched on or tacked on for now. I think all he's got now is to tack on the base plate and then obviously fully weld it all up and then bolt on the cutting edge. So yeah, looking good in Connor's area. And then just over here, Rob is not here today. These are sections for the wash plant as well, the wash plant project. These are going to be welded on the side of the main tank, and then this will connect onto the main frame, and then the oversized conveyor or the float conveyor will mount onto there. So these are quite important parts. They've been mag drilled and welded, and then I'd imagine these are going to get welded to the side of the tank very soon. So company update for this week. We have had a busy week in the office, lots of stuff going on as normal. I always say that, it must be dull. But we've done some exciting stuff. We have launched this week a live chat on our website, which we're really, really pleased about. It came up in a Monday morning meeting. Georgina actually suggested it, and then by the end of the day we'd got it up and running.
So really excited, we have a new feature on our website, which is a live chat. You can chat live with me through WhatsApp, and we're here to answer any questions about any of our products and machines. We've got technical advice on tap, so anything you need to know, just hit the live chat button and we'll be able to speak to you directly.
So super skills to Lauren for getting it up and running on our website. The premise of it is, at any point on our website, you can connect to us in the office for any questions. So it might be about pricing, it might be a technical question, it might be an availability question, and you will get an answer. You'll come straight through to the office number. So Georgina will be on monitoring that Monday to Thursday, 9 till 5. When it's after Thursday, so a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we will not be monitoring it. But if you contact us and leave us a message, we will always come back to you. So lots of ways to get in contact, but we're really, really proud of the new live chat feature. Please use it. Ask us anything. Technical questions will always be answered. Maybe not within 10 minutes, but we will always get an answer to you. On top of that, we're doing some other stuff. We've got our October newsletter going out this week, so that's interesting. If you're not already subscribed to that, hop onto the website or just drop us an email and we'll put you on a subscription list. There's loads of things in there that are not covered in the weekly YouTube, so just a bit more in-depth stuff and some funny stuff as well. Right, so this is for the Raptor 3012. It is the in-feed hopper and conveyor, which me and Stuart are now mounting on top of the actual conveyor itself. Once this is on, final finishing touches, and then hopefully by the time the frame's ready with all the panel work, we can get it on.
So this week has been a challenging week in many ways. Not done a lot out, because obviously I was out on site last week. Not done a huge amount in the yard this week because we've been really busy in the office. Now, cast our minds back 2 or 3 years ago, all we did marketing wise was word of mouth and eBay. We had a lot of stuff on eBay, still have, and that actually works really well. But as we've sort of grown and the business is sort of scaled up, we've found ourselves having to do more and more marketing activities to grow the business. You know, eBay got us to here, but if we want to go to here, we have to do more stuff. We now do the YouTube. I don't know if you know, but we do the weekly newsletter, which I think Andrew's covered off already in her update this week. And we're also looking at doing other things. We've done Facebook ads this year, which is bought in business. YouTube is bought in business. But we want to spread ourselves a little bit wider on this, so we've not got all of our eggs in one basket when it comes to marketing. So this week we have been racking our brains, getting creative and seeing what else there is that we can do, the opportunities, because the mini screen adverts that we've been running for the last few months, traditionally mini screen season is coming to an end, and the offer that we've got on at the minute is, and the one that we've started this week, I know Andrea mentioned it last week about this offer, but because we film these a week in advance, through the power and magic of YouTube, Andrea told you about it last week. What we're doing at the minute is we've got a long list of enquiries of people that are interested, but because we're towards the end of the season, they said, we'll look at it next year. So we want to sort of try and get some of those sales in the bank. So what we've done is we've said, till the end of October, anybody that orders a mini screen, we will take £1,000 off the purchase price, and you can secure it for £1,000 deposit. And by the time you see this, if you're watching this as it's just come out now, that offer is still running for the last few days. So if you're interested, you need to jump on it quick. Now, we did that, today's Thursday. We did it yesterday. We took our first order this morning. So it is working. We've got somebody who has placed an order and they've paid their deposit and they're looking for their machine in the beginning of February. So that works. But this year, in general, has been a tougher year than other years. Orders this year have been harder to get over the line than I can remember. So we've had to really ramp up our marketing activities, and there's still lots of stuff to come. There's going to be some big changes on the website. There's going to be what we're going to call the knowledge hub on there. So if you need advice on buying or running or selecting trommel screens, deck screens, conveyors, all sorts, there's going to be a wealth of knowledge on there, and it's going to be built up over the next few months. And that hopefully, if you're in the market for a trommel or a screen or a conveyor, whatever it is, if you want to know information, what to look for, how to select what, the information you need should be on our website. So back to the yard, there's a truck just turned up and he's come to collect 2 of the conveyors that have been in storage from a customer that we've got a secret project on next year with them. So Adam has gone and got some footage of that truck loading them up. So as you can see, that's made a massive difference in the yard. Because they were tall, we'd put stuff underneath. So we still haven't got a huge amount of yard space back, but glad they're gone because it means we can have a bit of a sort out. They weren't easy to move, they weren't, as far as we're concerned. So glad them conveyors have gone now, so we can have a bit of a sort out here. But yeah, secret project. Keep watching next year to see where that one goes. So this week's fun fact. Adam's found quite an interesting fun fact this week, and some of this is actually quite incredible, right? So cast our minds back, 1851. Isn't really that far back when you think about it, but Crystal Palace is quite a big building down in London. How long do you think it took them to build that? Well, I will tell you, 190 days. They built the entire thing in 190 days. Can you imagine building a building that size nowadays in 190 days? They would still be filling out the risk assessments and the people were doing inductions. There would be committees for the biscuits and all sorts. But no, in them days, they didn't have any of that shiz going on. They cracked on with it. 190 days they knocked that together in 1851. But the secret to doing it so quick was because a guy called Joseph Whitworth, he invented a standard for threads. Believe it or not, before that date, a lot of engineering companies would make their own thread. I mean, the Archimedes screw thread has been around a long time, but up until that date, if you went over there and got them to make something, they would do their own thread, and somebody over there would do their own thread. But Joseph Whitworth was the one that invented the Whitworth thread. Now, it obviously lasted a little while, but we've now moved on to an imperial measurements, AF, across flats, and we also use the metric sort of thread standard now. So Whitworth is now outdated, but he was the first person that standardised all these parts coming together, which meant that they could knock that building up in 190 days. Okay, so that's it for this week. Like, subscribe, all the usual things. Next week, the Cayman Island trommel will be running. So come back next week to see how well that went. You press play?
Press play.
Did you press play or press record? Archie said press play the other week.
Aggregate Wash Plant.
So, this week's fun fact. And then you can do that. Here at Spitfire Engineering, we design and build trommel screens. We can design them and build them, and there's a lot of designing and building going on in there.